Amara was married to Chike, a loving and hardworking man who adored her deeply. They lived in a big house filled with beautiful things, cars in the driveway, and everything anyone could dream of. They were blessed with two beautiful children, and Amara was excited about the birth of their third child. However, life was not perfect. Amara's biggest challenge was her mother-in-law, Mama Chike, who lived with them. Mama Chike was a wealthy and proud woman who had never accepted Amara into the family. From the day Chike brought Amara home, Mama Chike had made it clear that she didn't approve of their marriage. She wanted her son to marry Monica, the daughter of a wealthy family. But Chike chose Amara, a simple girl from a humble background. Whenever Chike was home, Mama Chike pretended to be sweet, kind, and loving to Amara, always smiling and acting like a loving mother-in-law. But the moment Chike traveled for work, Mama Chike's true colors showed. She would criticize Amara, calling her a gold digger and making her feel worthless. "You don't deserve my son," she would often say. "You're just a low-class girl who got lucky." One afternoon, Amara was alone in the house with Mama Chike. The maid, Ifoma, had gone to drop off some clothes at the dry cleaner, and the gatekeeper was on leave. Amara's labor pains began. She knew the baby was coming. The pain became so intense, but she tried to stay calm. She went to the living room where Mama Chike was sitting comfortably, watching her favorite TV show and sipping a glass of wine. "Mommy, please help me. I'm in pain," Amara pleaded as she held her belly, trying to stay on her feet. Mama Chike glanced at her coldly, sipping her wine slowly. "Are you insane? Don't you ever call me mommy again. I am not your mother. My son made a mistake marrying a low-class girl like you." She turned attention back to the TV, completely ignoring Amara, who was in serious labor pain. Amara's eyes was filled with tears as she fell to the ground. She was desperate and scared, but Mama Chike didn't care. She crawled to her room, fighting through the pain, and managed to grab her phone. She called Ifoma the maid, who quickly rushed back home and found Amara in distress. Ifoma tried to help, but there was another problem. There were 5 cars in the compound, but none of them could drive. Mama Chike was the only one who knew how to drive, but she refused to help. Without wasting time, Ifoma ordered for a taxi and helped Amara into the car. They rushed to the hospital, and soon after, Amara gave birth to a healthy baby boy. But the pain of what had happened with Mama Chike stayed with her. She couldn't believe that the woman who was supposed to care for her would let her suffer like that. Chike, who was abroad on a business trip, was thrilled when he heard the news of the baby's arrival. He called Amara. His voice was filled with excitement. "I am so proud of you, my love. I wish I could have been there," he said. Amara smiled weakly, but she didn't tell him what had happened with his mother. She didn't want to cause trouble, and she loved Chike too much to make him choose between her and his mother. As days turned into weeks, Mama Chike's attitude did not change. She continued to treat Amara badly when Chike wasn't around, insulting her and making her feel like she didn't belong. Amara tried her best to win Mama Chike's love. She cooked her favorite meals, bought her gifts, and tried to be respectful at all times. But nothing worked. Mama Chike's heart was cold, and her hatred only grew deeper. One evening, Chike returned from his trip and noticed that Amara was unusually quiet. She seemed tired and sad, but whenever he asked what was wrong, she just smiled and said, "I am fine, my dear." Chike loved Amara deeply, but he couldn't see the pain she was hiding. He believed that everything was perfect between his wife and his mother, just like Mama Chike pretended when he was around. Amara continued to endure the silent suffering. She didn't want to be seen as a troublemaker or be tagged as an ungrateful. Even after having 3 children, Mama Chike's disdain never wavered. She would say hurtful things like, "You trapped my son with these children, and you are lucky he loves you. Otherwise, you will be nothing." Amara's heart broke every time, but she held on to her love for Chike and her children. One morning, Amara woke up early to prepare breakfast for her children. As she was making the food, Mama Chike walked into the kitchen and began inspecting the pots. "Amara, what are you cooking?" Mama Chike asked, peering into the bubbling pots. "Good morning, Mama. I'm making porridge for breakfast," Amara replied with a smile. Mama Chike frowned. "No meat? Why don't you ever put meat in food? Are you trying to starve me and my children? You are such a lowlife. Even after marrying into wealth, you still can't behave like a wealthy woman." And Amara tried to explain to her mother-in-law that the meat in the freezer was finished and they had ordered for some more today. But before she could finish, Mama Chike carried water from the pot and poured it on Amara. "Stupid girl, how can you say that? Simple thing you can't even do. Now you are cooking without meat. I don't blame you. I blame Chike, my son, for marrying you. There is nothing good about you. I wonder what he sees in you." Amara, with tears, asked her mother-in-law, "Mama, what have I ever done to you to deserve all of this? I have only been a nice daughter-in-law to you. What do I need to do to make you happy?" And Mama Chike responded, "The only thing you've ever done to me is coming from a poor family. I wanted my son to marry Monica, the rich man's daughter. But you came with your poor and smelly self into my son's life, and now he didn't marry Monica. Do you know the connections I would have gotten for my family if that marriage was possible?" And Amara pleaded with her mother-in-law, "But Mama, I know my family is poor, but I am a good person and I promise to behave well." But Mama Chike was not listening to Amara at all. One day, something happened that changed everything. Amara was in the garden with her children, watching them play. Little Toby, her oldest son, ran inside to get his toy and overheard Mama Chike talking on the phone. "I don't know why Chike is so blind," she said angrily. "This guy is nothing but a gold digger. I will never accept her, and I will make sure she knows her place." Toby didn't understand everything, but he knew his grandmother was talking about his mom. He went outside and whispered to Amara, "Mommy, Grandma is saying some things about you on the phone. Some bad things, Mommy." Amara's eyes filled with tears. She hugged Toby and tried to act like everything was okay, but inside she was hurting. That night, as Chike was putting the children to bed, Amara sat in the living room, thinking about all the times she had been mistreated. She realized that if she didn't speak up, things would never change. She loved Chike, but she also loved herself and her children, and she knew they deserved better. When Chike came downstairs, Amara took a deep breath. "Chike, we need to talk," she said, her voice trembling. She told him everything, how Mama Chike treated her when he was away, the hurtful things she said, and how she had refused to help when Amara was in labor. Chike was stunned. He had no idea that his mother was treating Amara this way. "I never wanted to tell you," Amara said, tears streaming down her face. "But I can't keep living like this. I love you and our children, but I also need to feel safe and respected in my own home." Chike was heartbroken. He couldn't believe his mother could be so cruel to the woman he loved. He immediately went to talk to Mama Chike, hoping to understand why she had been so unkind. Mama Chike tried to defend herself, saying that she only wanted the best for her son and that Amara was not good enough for him. But Chike was firm. "Amara is my wife and the mother of my children," he said. "She deserves respect, If you can't treat her with kindness, then you need to find somewhere else, Mama. Mama Chike was shocked. She never expected Chike to stand up to her, but Chike was determined to protect his family. Chike said to his mother, Mama, we have a lot of estates and duplexes. Please pick one of them and live on your own. And Mama Chike said, Chike, so you're sending me out of your house because of this poor thing? I will leave, no problem. But don't worry, I will come back. And Mama Chike packed her luggages and left for one of the duplexes in their estates. The months following Mama Chike's departure were filled with both healing and tension. Chike and Amara grew closer as a couple, working together to rebuild their emotional connection. The absence of Mama Chike's cruel remarks gave Amara the breathing space she needed to rediscover herself. She focused on her children, her career, and her marriage. Chike too became more attentive to her needs and feeling something he hadn't fully realized he was neglecting before. One late afternoon, Chike received a call from his mother, telling him that she was coming to the house. She didn't sound angry or defensive as she usually did, but rather resigned. Chike hesitated for a moment, sensing that this was a crucial moment for their family. He called Amara into the living room and told her what Mama Chike had said. Amara, still unsure of what to expect, agreed to face her mother-in-law once again. When Mama Chike arrived, she was different. Gone was the proud, imposing figure who had once made Amara feel inferior. She came with her head down, her eyes softened, and her demeanor humble. The air in the house grew tense as Amara stood in the living room, unsure of how to react. Chike was the first to speak. His voice was firm yet gentle. Mama, Amara and I have talked. We've walked through a lot of things, but I need you to hear her too. You've hurt her, and I need you to apologize, not just for my sake, but for the sake of our family. Mama Chike nodded slowly, her lips trembling. She glanced at Amara, her eyes filled with regret. Amara, struggling to fight the right words, she said, I was wrong. I treated you like an outsider, and I let my pride and expectations cloud my judgments. You never deserved the way I treated you. Amara, though guided, could see the sincerity in her eyes. She wasn't sure if she could forgive the past so easily, but in that moment, she realized that forgiveness was not for Mama Chike. It was for herself and for the peace of their family. She took a deep breath and spoke softly, her voice trembling with emotion. I never wanted things to be like this between us, Mama. Amara said, I tried so hard to make you see that I love Chike and our children, but I felt like I was never enough for you, no matter what I did. Mama Chike's eyes welled up with tears. I'm sorry, Amara. I see that now. I thought I was doing what was best for my son, but I was wrong. I wanted him to have the best, and I never realized that you were exactly the best for him. And I can't change the past, but I want to be a better mother and grandmother. Over the next few months, things between Amara and Mama Chike began to change. Though it wasn't an easy process, the wounds of the past were not forgotten, but they started to heal. Amara and Mama Chike took small steps towards building a more respectful relationship. Mama Chike slowly became more involved in her grandchildren's lives, offering help and guidance without the harshness she once carried. She even started cooking Amara's favorite dishes and giving her little compliments when she saw her working hard. There were still moments of tension, especially when Chike wasn't around, but Amara and Mama Chike had learned to communicate better. Amara learned to assert herself with kindness, and Mama Chike learned to respect her boundaries. Chike remained the glue that held everything together, making sure that his wife and mother knew where his loyalty lay. One evening, as they sat down for a family dinner, Mama Chike looked at Amara with a soft smile and said, You've done well, Amara, and I'm proud of you.